Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Today, as we debate the state of the nation, we stand in solidarity with the 8.3 million South Africans without jobs. And we recognize the role that education can play in job creation and redressing the legacy of the past. As the Supreme Court of Appeal said last year, basic education is the primary driver of transformation in South Africa. And yet, last week, in his State of the Nation address, President Zuma said nothing about basic education. Nothing. We spend 203 billion rand per annum on basic education. It is the biggest item in the line. It is the biggest line item in the budget. But the President had nothing to say about it. The matric results released last month showed a national decline from 75% to 70%, but the President said nothing. Every province, except for the Western Cape, performed worse than the previous year, but the President said nothing. And there were 22 schools across the country that recorded a pass rate of 0%. Imagine that. A school where not one learner passes. But the President remained silent. Madam Chairperson, the President was silent on Thursday because he is not in charge of education. Minister Motshekga is not in charge of education. In most provinces, the MECs are not in charge of education. Because in most parts of the country, it is the South African Democratic Teachers Union, SADTU, that is in charge of education. 3 weeks ago, Madam Speaker, we visited rural schools in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, government officials there, they told us how SADTU teachers, they drop their own children off at former Model C schools in the morning, and then they go on strike for the day, depriving other people's children of an education. One district director described it as, and I quote, the highest level of cruelty. We heard how in the Ugu district there was no teaching for 7 months over the last 2 years because of a dispute between SADTU and a district director. 7 months, no teaching. Is it a wonder that KwaZulu-Natal was the worst performing province? We visited Bekesizwe High School in the Umzinyathi district. We heard how teachers go on holiday 2 weeks before the term ends, and they come back 2 weeks after the term starts. And they get away with it. At Dumapansi Secondary, 146 learners have written matric maths in the last 3 years, but not one learner has passed. And guess what? Not one teacher has been fired for underperformance. The reason for the high failure rate in the province was summed up by a district director who told us, and I'm quoting him, our teachers are not teaching. That's the bottom line. Organized labor has taken over the system. Until we correct that, we are wasting our time. Now, there are many, many hardworking and dedicated teachers who can't. There are many hardworking and dedicated teachers in our country, and we pay tribute to them. But we have to be honest about this. There are too many teachers who can't teach, and there are too many teachers who won't teach. And they are never held to account because they are members of SADTU, and SADTU is an alliance partner of the ANC. Madam Chairperson, Minister Motshekga will soon table the so-called Jobs for Cash report in this House. It has taken nearly 2 years for the task team to complete its work, but we have reason to believe that the wait was worth it. The report will show how SADTU-aligned officials arranged teaching posts for SADTU members in exchange for cash. It will show how SADTU has captured six of the 9 provincial government departments, 6 of them under control of SADTU. It will show that in these provinces, SADTU runs a protection racket, where underperforming teachers are protected because they are members of SADTU. It will show how SADTU uses militancy to exert pressure on its members to be unionists first and professionals second. The conclusion is clear. For SADTU bosses, loyalty to the union is prized over loyalty to the children of this country. And if you're a SADTU member looking for a promotion, it's better to be on the streets picketing than in the classroom teaching. President Zuma, we know this is a difficult time for you. And we know you need all the friends in the alliance you can get. But if you won't put South Africa first, at least put the children of this country first. Break your silence. Break your silence on Thursday. Tell us what you will do to smash the SADTU protection racket so that we can improve the education of every child in our country. I thank you.
Thank you, sir.